Screen share. Let's see. And you can see my screen okay?
Now.
Huh?
Now, yes.
Okay, perfect. So this, and before we get into this, I want to go over a lot of important things. This folder over here, I don't know if you had a chance to look at. I sent a Zoom video on this as well. You know what I mean? Pointing out like which ones I thought were some good ones, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just watched this like a few minutes back.
Yeah. It like I said, to me, like again, I just don't understand like again why we haven't utilized this more, and that's why.
Because we have only 20 to 25-second mark,
Yeah,
less than 30
and all I
seconds.
need is sometimes a clip of 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds. That's what I'm trying to aim for. It's I find what I need, right? Because I know we don't have a lot of time. All I know is that you need a couple seconds to get across. Sometimes not even that much. If you find that right moment, that's all. Right? And that's why, for example, you couldn't cut. You know, remember it was very difficult for you to cut down to get to the stage because I kept pointing out what multiple times what we don't need, right? Because what you made is fine for maybe a longer product video, right? But that's not what we've been trying to aim for a long time.
Yes.
Before we get into that as well. But today is the 20th, right?
21st for me, yeah, 20th.
Right.
20th is already gone for US.
Right. So, okay. So that would make almost 2 weeks since you first gave something, right? For the
I'm not sure right now.
well, let's look at the calendar. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So let's try to look at it. I think it was that time, right? On the 6th or whatever, because you said you sent me a message that you weren't feeling well and stuff. Remember when the whole thing started? I think it was.
I think it's on 13th instead of 6th.
You're saying it was only 1 week ago?
Yes.
Because the filming we had did on the 8th.
So there is no point I
Right.
I
So
told
that
you
means,
like
and the same day was when you had called. Think about the quality. You sent us the email, a message, whatever. The quality was. I'm trying to figure out how long you've had this information, right? So it's not about what changes need to be done on here. I'm trying to figure out how long it takes us to get to that point. That's
yeah, it depends on revision, like how much revision I do, I guess.
revision, and it also depends on so many different things. That's the kind of the big picture question that we're gonna be talking about soon, right? Where because it's even my mom loved it. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to get through to you something which is very, very important, right? You know what I'm trying to get through to you is this: that listen, you have so much potential, right? And my mistake is I see the same mistakes that I made when I was your age, you're making, right? And you don't even know it, even though no matter how many times I tell you. It's almost like you're going to have to fall literally on your face and make those mistakes. And it's the same thing I felt with my son when he was making those mistakes. And that's what I feel with you. Like, for example, like let me ask you this: what's your biggest fear right now?
I never think about it right now, honestly.
In
Yeah.
general, whatever. What's your biggest fear? You don't have any answer for that?
No, I didn't have any kind of relatable answer to tell you.
You don't have any fear.
That's also not true on the same time.
Okay. What you call what's your biggest stress?
Stress. When I do some work and you don't like it, that's the biggest stress.
Right.
Even that's the biggest fear, you can say that.
Right.
Yes.
And what I'm finding is so interesting, right? Like the kind of things that I'm bringing up and when you don't have an explanation. Like when I'm actually going to make an SOP on this. That
Mm-hmm.
that when you had that those people with the tattoos and those guys there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like I'm thinking, like if it's somebody brand new, I don't know, who doesn't know anything about my business, and he did something like that, right? I would totally understand, right? But in the context of working with you and knowing how much content we have in our Dropbox with exactly that kind of footage, right?
Mm-hmm.
It looks really bad on your part. I'll be honest. If you were to look back on it, I think you would admit that too. If you don't, then you have the same issue that I had, that sense of ego. That's why you didn't listen when Harshit tried telling you the first time, and only second time, Jarasa Hosha didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yes, yes.
I'm trying to get through to you that ego you have is what's going to bring you down. It's not going to raise you up. It's bring
Mm-hmm.
you down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need to understand more than any of these minor little changes for this and that, because we're going to get there, right? The key is, can we get there faster? Can we get there quicker? That's the key, right? So that's what I want to do. In the next few weeks, we're going to do this A/B test. We're going to just focus on your strength, if this is your strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so listen, one of the things, I don't know if I told you this, and please write this down. I want you to give me 5 different links or examples, okay,
Mm-hmm.
of different kinds of videos that you're going to do. Because what I'm saying to, every time I've tried this kind of example, right, it's been very difficult because it's too abstract. And I'll give you a perfect example of what's working so well. If I tell Harshit to go make an email, then it takes so much longer. If I say
Mm-hmm.
go make an email with this promotion, right, with give a free pillow with any purchase of 100, it's easy. You can get it done in an hour or two.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
They make it that linear, right? And the problem is, it's not going to be that linear for you when you're just so task oriented. You know what I mean? And what you need to do is look at that big picture. So not only remove the ego, right? You need to understand one important thing. You need to become a little bit more alpha, right? Having the ego is not alpha. Ego is not alpha. What ego is a weakness you're going to find out later in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alpha is being able to take more of a measurable amount of risk, right? Because in my case, and do you remember we talked about this with Russ? I don't know if you remember this. What did we talk about? I said the majority of the most successful entrepreneurs tend to be alpha males rather
Mm-hmm.
than beta males, and he agreed, because that's the truth. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's the type of personality that can make a decision right away,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and that's what you're gonna need, because think about this: are you satisfied? Suppose maybe the way your skill set is, right? Maybe someone will pay you, I don't know, $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month in a couple of years if you have really good skills, right? Max, like I don't know, like I don't know, but I'm just trying to say, if you're satisfied with that, thinking small, then you're not gonna grow. Do you understand what I mean? You have potential for much more than that. Like I said, like where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself making in 3 years from now per month in US dollars? If you had to say this is what you really feel that you're capable of doing in 3 years from now.
Actually, honestly, I never think about it. I just want to like work on a project or a thing,
Yeah,
and yeah, money is the byproduct of
right.
that thing.
Okay.
That's what I believe. I'm not
Right.
sure how much is this true, but yeah.
Right. Okay, that's good. That's if you believe that, because then that's a good sign that some of that is thinking through, right? But what's not thinking through is, now I discovered one thing we didn't talk about is your ego, for sure, getting in the way, right? And that's something you're going to have to confront on your own, literally. If you can confront your ego, then you won't have a problem. Like, I'll give you an example, and I think you probably maybe didn't listen to that podcast with Andy Sleeman's, you know. because you didn't answer the questions that I was hoping.
Yes, yes. I didn't listen to that
Yeah, even though
properly.
you wrote
Yes.
it in your report that you wrote, that you read, you watched it.
Yeah, yes. I just like go on the top of that
Yeah,
video,
but then
not
don't write
report.
it in a report. It's just, I have to assume if you're writing something in a report. But anyways, he talks about something in this podcast, and he says he invited this guy that he wanted him to gain his friendship and knowledge and become a mentor for him, that he contacted him 30 times on Facebook. Like, then he went around from different channels 30 fucking times. Right? If suppose somebody tells you they're not interested, whatever, I'm busy, not now, you 2-3 times you'd give up, right? I know you. And most people will give up after a few, maybe 8-9 times. It all depends. 30 times. And he said this is just one example of not giving up, right? So he never gave up, and that's one of the reasons this guy was able to scale to such huge quantities so quickly. Because just an example of, if you find something that you wanted, then go after it with a proper passion. And I hope you can learn from that, because every single moment that we have together right now is just what it's too, and it should be, for a certain extent, is too mechanical, right? It's task based. Okay, this, right? What you shouldn't be saying is, here, this is what I also want to do, these are the samples, blah 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 blah. So let's take a look at this thing.
Sure.
Is this you struggling to get on Pillow Protector because it's so thick? Now listen, this is the closest to the final production that I'm able to get now, right? Now, the only thing that if I would do better in the beginning, let's show you something right here. First of all, in this case, we're going to have a version, right? Okay, so get ready for this, right? So you make attention to this. You're going to make one version of this now, right? Without any music in the front. You're going to have somebody's the voiceover, right? And afterward I'll say it, right? But for now you're gonna say it, okay? So put your voice into it, okay? And say, write this down, because again, I can't even depend on you to paraphrase, because it can be, say, this is not a pillow fight, right? This is not a pillow fight. Right, and boom. Then what you do is, when you see the people, you know what I mean. And what you need to do is, in this case, you need to have at least two people. Hold on. Okay, one. Okay, so what you would do is have at least two. Have another shot in here of people pillow fighting. You understand what I mean?
We have two girls fighting.
Huh?
We have two girls fighting with stock footage.
We have a lot of different ones. Now I'm not going to open these ones, but I remember we have a lot of different ones.
Yes, we have in Dropbox.
Yes, yeah. So what I'm saying to you is, that's one way to sort of improve it too. So let me. I have a problem opening the zip file. This is the one that you use right now, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Then this is the most obvious one, I guess. Then what you're gonna do is put 2 seconds of that. Okay. So let's go back to that. Okay, so you see how you're going to improve that? You're going to have the voice, no music right now. You're going to have the voiceover of, this is not. You can have 2 seconds of the first couple, 2 seconds of the second two girls, right? Then you start the music, right? Then you start all what you have. The rest of it's pretty good. Then everything else is almost pretty good. Then you have me and him for whatever 2-3 seconds each. You know what I mean? Right? And almost everything else is you can is pretty much is good. And then we can then that will be the final 30-second version. And then from there we're going to make a few variations. Are you clear on that?
Yes.
So basically, this one here is about 90% done.
So what's about that voiceover? So
Yeah.
this is not a pillow fight.
Yeah, but no, again, not that fast. You're going to say, "This is not a pillow fight."
This is not a pillow fight. So
Yeah.
this is the real pillow fight. Should I say that too?
No. You just say, "This is not a pillow fight." And then the text will come in after that saying, "This is a real pillow fight" in a few seconds, showing me and Harshit.
Got your point. Got you.
So that's how it has to roll. Okay, so then once that's done, right, we're going to make multiple Instagram vertical version and this and that. So I want to make sure everything, and I don't know if Mohit was going to do it. He said he was going to go in and try to go in and organize that folder even. I told him we made the subfolders, right? And then now once we get like the variation, suppose we want to make Instagram, then we'll make subfolders inside the subfolder so everything is clearly marked, right? And then what I want to do, I told you, is let's look at the split one. That was inside the graphic design too, right?
Yes.
So this is this one?
No. Above.
This one, right?
Oh, on the one more up.
This.
Short one. Yes, this one.
Okay, right here. Here's another example where you lost it. I think you could have a rolling banner saying "Advanced 2-zipper design." You know what I mean? And then you have a zipper. You understand what I mean? You understand? This is a missed opportunity for additional good editing. Like over here, right? You know what I mean? Aside from that, it's great. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking again, this top here is a perfect area where you're losing opportunity. So have something like a rolling.
Basically, I just want to make it like a cleaner look. That is why I like.
Yeah. Then what you could do then what I suggest you do is again make a second variation of it. Otherwise, it's fine. Right?
Yes. I will do that too.
Yeah, and then again, label it properly inside of the Dropbox, and then what you can do is make Instagram versions of all these ones, right? For all these final ones that you
basically, have. I have to edit that the last video I shared with you first.
Yeah.
Adding 2 seconds of of a new pillow fight video, and a voiceover.
You know what?
And
what I would have you do is again keep that one there, the final, to make it easy. Keep that one there, the final version, and then make a new variation of that other one with what I told you was the 2 girls and the voiceover, and then you start the music, and then it's pretty much almost the same thing. Like and same thing with a lot of them. Some of them there's less work for the vertical version. Some of them are more. In this case, you would want this is a lot more work because this one you would want kind of like me on the top and him on the bottom if possible, right? So that's almost like doing a new one. But either way, it's not that much more work. Right?
Yes, basically, it's just like task-based graphical making work, not a creativity thing.
Well, in this case, creativity is going to be when 2 things. When first of all, you can do that research to show me all these 5 different templates that you can make more different that you need, and then come up with something like what I did when I came up. I keep focusing on this whole pillow fight. Keep showing the different, you know what I mean? Pillow fight, because people know that term, and we're making fun of it, right? That's why everybody loves it. So we're gonna say, hey, that's not a pillow fight. So make different variations of that theme for everything. So we could use it for social media, for Facebook, for whatever, because we need to have a good launch on this product.
Okay, so what I'm thinking is before you wake up, I will send you the revised version of this one and the last one. And I will try to research about the 5 new videos, example, as much as possible till you wake
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I would even, you say you saw a good example, just to go and start doing it, right? Because you can see what we've done. You can see our main, our catchy line of the whole thing is that what's a pillow fight, right? And then again, really pump the solution. We don't have to have some kind of big grand thing of me explain. We just people want to say, hey, do zipper. You know, you don't even need to have a person. I want you to what was missing in your videos is a lot of them is I want to see that. Remember the one where we pull it with the fish wire, right? You should have
Yes.
like a glow in the dark arrow holding that advanced two thing, advanced two zipper design, and in fact that you want to really focus on your strengths, right? And 400, I think this is the 400 thread count or 300 thread count, 100% cotton. So again, even though it's not a big selling point, we still want to be able to at least where we can. You know what I mean? Don't make it too clean. You know what I mean? So you can have it, some of those features in there wherever you can, right? That's or make it a different version, a separate version. So in this case, we're going to have at least say 2-3 versions of this one, right? And then you're going to have maybe 2-3 versions even in Instagram, right? Version, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, let me stop the share here. Where are we? We're still live, yeah. Okay, so how was that screen share compared to Loom, the size and
Zoom.
clarity? Huh?
Zoom,
What do
not
you
Loom.
mean?
Zoom, not Loom.
Okay, uh, okay, you know what I mean. I'm talking about just say,
Yes, yes,
what did you
yes.
prefer better?
So basically, for screen share, I like the Zoom one,
Right,
but the for background removal, I like the StreamYard more than Zoom.
right. Is it because the main difference is maybe that one is larger, it's a bigger
Yes,
screen?
yes.
That's what I noticed with when we're doing. Let me do the full. You know what? I think there was a setting he showed me that day where you can do full screen, and that makes a big difference. And then I don't know if the screen share looks any larger. Hold on. Camera. He showed me the setting. You have access too, right? You can make changes, right? You're admin. See if you can find it. It allows us to all of us go full screen. Okay, anyway, you know what? Let's leave that for now. Let me just go back into a few other important things. Okay, do you have any more questions to ask me aside from this whole issue of the video editing part?
No, not right now. I didn't think about new questions and things.
Okay, so remember what I think what we discovered today is more than anything more profound. I'm gonna make a note of this than anything. Because I never really thought about this. Is my ego back then, right? Because I still remember by 21, my ego has started coming down a bit. I said, no, I
Okay.
need to make some fucking money. You know what I mean? I didn't think at first I was like you. No, I don't need to the stress of owning a business I thought I was gonna go work and get a job and somebody's gonna pay me this much money and I'm gonna be with my friends hanging out and I didn't want to be working alone as an entrepreneur. Then I realized nobody's gonna pay me. You understand? And that's why you're gonna have to understand something too. This is the whole point of what I'm trying to tell you. If you're just satisfied making $1,000 or $1,500 a month, that's where you're kind of headed right now. then you have very low expectations. You need to raise your expectations. And and for example, let me ask you this. This is what I mean about taking chances and becoming an alpha male and getting rid of your ego, right? Is do you think I would pay Joe or money for tutoring or six or no or Raz, or I would look up to Norm if they weren't very successful, right?
No.
All right, and of course not. So nobody's gonna pay you the kind of money you want. Really, you're thinking, you're visioning 5, 10 years from now for consulting, because if you haven't proven yourself to be successful, then you're gonna be stuck where you are 10 years from now, making $1,500 a month. And if you're happy with that, then that's fine. You still have your dad's business to go back to. I don't know, right? Let me ask you this. So, does your dad speak good English?
Little bit, not much.
Not much. So, what? And is it possible to talk to him?
I'm not sure he can understand, but I'm not sure he will understand you.
मैं हिंदी में बोल सकता हूँ if he prefers, if he can understand.
Yeah, I will get you on a call someday. Yes, sure.
Okay. No, that's fine. If as long as if you feel comfortable, yeah. So, listen, yeah. So, what I'm saying to you is that think about some of the important things we talked about, not the micro things about the like what we talked about, the changes and the variations to the videos and stuff, right? I'm talking about the big picture, right? How are you going to achieve something? You can only achieve something if at some point you decide to say, hey, I'm gonna take a risk in my life, right? At some point, I don't know what that point is. It's like, for example, it's like nobody's gonna tell us how they got their products, the exact, not only the exact product, but how the exact, you know what I mean? They're very general. You know what I mean? And but they give us enough. I told you, to solve a problem. Like, for example, this gusseted pillow protector, right? How did it come to me? Because I'm solving a problem. I'm thinking, even when I'm sleeping, what problems do I have? If I'm changing my pillow, you understand what I mean? How in everyday life you can solve some type of problem. So this is something I said, okay, if you don't have to do a lot of work to do this type of thing. This is what I think. How can you solve a problem in your life? And that's where you're going to have to find that strength on your own. Remember the other part of the podcast I talked about with Andy and other people? That's why I'm not depending on you or even Harshit to find me anything. Why? Because I realized if you could do it, this is what they said, then you would have gone and done it on your own already. Right? So this is what sets me apart from other people too, because I can go and take that kind of risk. And one day you probably will take that kind of risk. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying to you is that make sure that if I were you, that day is sooner than later. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that you have more time to fail. Remember, I don't have that kind of time. That's why I'm much more methodical. I'm much more cautious. You know what I mean? Because back then, what I had is exactly what I see in you. You have your sense of ego. Because I'm thinking, for example, I sent you a couple of replies you're going to see if you haven't seen it already.
Which one?
What the problem with your SOPs are, right?
Yes. I just watched that
Nobody wants to see
10 minutes before meeting, 10,
Yeah,
15 minutes.
nobody wants to see a blank of how to use. I can't remember that. If you just keep using the same example of your gusset pillow protector, how I'm going to do this, and I'm going to.
Basically, what I was thinking is, I understand what you are asking for. I can make it easily. Even it is easier than making a blank one, because I'm working on it. So basically, what I am thinking is, if a new person watching that video, then I guess a fully fledged project blown up in a new mind. That's why I start with the basic things: how to remove this, how to
No.
remove green screen and this.
What I felt about this when I watched it is that listen, then I would have to stop it at this point. Go there. That's not what I want. What will go easier in somebody's mind is that example, right? Like, for example, somebody giving you talking in abstract, this is the kind of stuff you do on Amazon and that. But what if they give you the exact breakdown of how they find? Then you understand by example. So this is, if you keep running the same example, it helps me understand what your challenges are. Why is it taking you so much longer? If I
So editing video is not time consuming. Thinking about it and like making a script and in mind in on
right,
paper
I get that
is
part.
that is the main time consuming part.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Apart
because now I'm deeply involved. But what I'm saying to you, if I had to guesstimate, that's why I asked you when everything was uploaded, when you had access to it. I would, if I had to estimate how much time I've told you devote to it, right, and how little else you've done anything else that you were supposed to be doing as your duties before, I would have had way more done. I'm just saying, if I had your skill set. Because if you're telling me you have to think about it and this and that, then show me that creativity that you had. Like, I'm the one who came up with the whole idea of the pillow fight and this and that. Like, what you did was decent, right? What I would call it is kind of like maybe intermediate skill. If somebody wants to say, what's your skill level of video editing? That's what I would say. I wouldn't, because you're not really at what we talked about multiple times right now, at that collaborator stage. Right. So, for example, when you give me some different templates of what you're going to work on next, is going to help you in this process, because it's going to show me, like, for example, do some SOPs, how I'm doing research for new video ideas. Boom, boom, boom. You can have, and then you can show that what you come up with that you're going to say, and then, hey, this is a good idea. This is a good idea. And then remember, take some more of the prime footage, and the only part I told you that was missing the most was just the part of it closing. You don't need to have even a hand closing it. People just want to just envision the stress, and then like it closes magically on their own. Like, have something different. Like, it's like, you know what I mean. You don't have a hand there, but you have the pillow in a cloud, and you see an advanced two-stippers design with a different nice cool graphic or something. You know what I mean?
on the same time, it should look more realistic, not like fictionary.
Yeah, but whatever you need to do to stand out, and I haven't seen any sense of creativity at this point. Right now, it's looking kind of stiff and clean, but use these examples to try to make something different, right? And something that, because you can see now, I understand video editing is very time consuming. So we're looking for ways to streamline it, make it quicker, right? And that's exactly what I told before we end this to Mohit. I said, listen, do you remember last summer I sat down with Mohit? I said, you and me went through 2-3 hours of the Dropbox, making favoriting items, deleting boxes, this, and that's what literally we have to do all the time. Because if I don't get familiar with the Dropbox and put content together and delete old things that we really don't need or whatever, then what happens, we get bogged down. Right? So this way we keep it clean and organize that content well, and then it'll be easier to work in, right?
Yes.
Okay, so any more questions before we wrap it up?
No. I am done with the questions.
Okay, perfect. Then I'm ready to go to bed too. Then take care, and we'll talk soon. Good night,
All
Jess.
right. Yes, Hiram. Good night.